I want some every day. I want some every day. Youth life matter. Come go fiki nata. Poraya, Shadi Obi, Kadama moving to pan. The Mumbaro Kwaya for Panapado, Bakwa Cafe baby, I wash your own quality, you know. One national man, your Benjizika. What's our best out of Mugaworo? Bakwe go to home when they be answered them into you know. Mama, Padama guy on in there, I got my racing. Eh, to go na purple, I shall receive. Your life is so precious, so sister. Shayna, I'm wasting no brother, but wasting all living and I will refuse. Now we share noble and strong men self. They 10 beggars, women are beaten and forced to be sex workers. Cause I got this, I'm robbers. No food, no water on the hot desert. They beat, more treat, they some, they rape some. I hear say recently they start, they sell some. Over 5,000 people they die for sea job. Africa, Ghana, man for wake up. Nobra, Omokoda, on your wallet, no topa, Kakakakra, baby Aliha, Shada swear while I tell you, we want the worry for money. Baby Andre, if you buy Kasani, I go Bugatti. Kasowa can, you visit that, you go to can, you wash on can, and S10. If you must migrate, we must migrate safe. Say no, no. We say no, no. We say no to irregular migration. We say no.
TAPTAP said, oh, I was you're from Calabos, the only boss. With oneness, baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. TAPTAP send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through TAPTAP send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download TAPTAP send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download TAPTAP send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, that's how the world is chilling. Like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download TAPTAP Send now on Google Play and App Store. TAPTAP Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
After successfully redefining Accra's skyline with the delivery of the signature apartments, Cape May Properties presents an exclusive unveiling of the tallest residential building in Ghana, offering a first look of Sultan Sky. Sultan Sky, a magnificent representation of the seamless fusion of quality, groundbreaking innovation, and pioneering architectural brilliance. An extraordinary structure set to reshape the concept of upscale living, thanks to its inventive attributes and unparalleled commitment to precision. This master-planned residential development will focus on the building's location, security, privacy, the design's aesthetic brilliance, elevated features in each living space, cutting-edge smart home technology, and amenities beyond imagination. With fantastic residential features, which include 24-hour concierge service, a state-of-the-art fitness center, a floating tennis court, a floating swimming pool, a spa, a sky pool, a sky lounge, a movie theater, co-working spaces, kids zone, distinctive lifts for staff and deliveries, private gardens, chef's kitchen, expansive terraces, entertainment rooms, restaurant, and 24-hour security. Sultan Sky. a new perspective in the sky.
So, Christica Manian, put me do rap to say. So, me send you my within a minute in Sabakandra, and then one tap send.
Yeah, Ebusian 4, a man 4. We didn't did an akuma patchlewa 1. They recommended tap send that mama. And that's our for also for baby. That yabasa, our rating so yeah. Omo ye A1 nti obia no do tap send na on say sika fa tap piao
yebo hu de wo kire amansan yebo hu de wo kire Ghana for say ye wa kwantu ne di sika coffee ne me ye mfa ba bia ye be nu ye ho tap send tap edemu fuwa tap send in this asu
Tap ye enwa na ye na eyi
tap de enwa na eko
Tap dear or see any seso. Memo ajo emo aha emo achi emo akwaba baby bia and they what joining FBA edo eba jumedi I friends a time with tap send live on OT Media TV. Meaning any nana kwame or say too. So Thursday do say ya na yenina we are na the diaspora community yeshia ewo eye time with tap send jumedi so na eye enkomo twetwe na ye ba betwetwe na ya hwe ekwan a ye be fa so na yen amonani asetina ye tie etimi akọ enkan de amayen na dachi bi ye dani ye ni de ko yenchi na se ye ko oman Ghana mu a na je se ye kwa na asundwe mu na bibia akototen de amayen eno enenam so ema tap send ebe so ye mu ema yetimi de dwumadie ebrel every Thursday bia eniti ba bia wa join ye fi bia mema akwaba ede o eba dwumadie so said ye nyina ye nim no the month of a year May ye si honom to celebrate our mothers sa enso and at the month of June enso ye si honom to celebrate our fathers nyame eya adoma Sunday we ase afana nyina ye celebrate ye papa no and it is ye timi celebrate ye maame no a na hu behia say ye papa no so the role that they are playing in our life ye enso ye timi celebrate yo nti enei yakofa ye papa no Aba yeni omo ba betwetwe enkomo about the role of our fathers in their family, especially when we come to yen asetremu ewo diaspora ehanom nso eni nti misewa nyabotre na twemi na yenko tap send asweye enkohwe ne eho nso no omo ediman na watwi emu na afi yenko enkomo twetwe ne so mi fi tap send eba may introduce my guest for tonight that we'll be discussing this topic about their role in our family. And yet tap send adaroma coming to me emfa dwumadie emrel every Thursday bia enti ye de aseda kese aseda PSC e de ema tap say omo akan ho aboyen ema yetimi e de dwumadie ebrel every Thursday bia enti tap send yada mo asepa enti say wa join yen na wa be kan yen ho utie wo hwe yen ba bia na say won download the tap send na omo de akọ App Store Play Store na download the tap send na nam so na fasika etimi ko boa abusuafo ewo oman Ghana say a project say abusuan and akọ support yom enoa any tap send and e kra de was it what the new countries aba be ka ho as say what tre on ahyiemu ekowiase afana nyina enti yenko tap send asoye ehonom na owura Kofi Edufrimpong growth manager Europe UK ewo na wonfa de ho nyina emfambre Kofi me ma ajo emo akwaba edo ebadwumadi so
yabusuafo call isu nyina anwumre so
yo me da se pa se anwumre so wa ba be kan ho na wo be ma busuafo nyina update from tap send so ye ba ne tap send na enei edien na wo ka kire busuafo nyina
And then you read them by na me share busuan phone cry say rate no ye hu say the mirikatente any if a call from na so say no I stabilize it and I think say peke kakakakra obi adwen say be sa peke den e be den say be peke den o bibi ya ye say ye nene say obetwen ama se besa akode a na bia then your project no ebe delay enti ade a me share obi a wo call isu nkran bia ne se for any into say rate no say be sorry akod UK 21 Europe 18 ne sa ebe den enti se wo bibi a onua kan osisi so na ye ne samre yai because CD no reverse gear the ebe den so obeyi a hye se no o hye neutral from abona no akọ nanim kakra ya so anu aba na chi kakra but te wo call reverse there ma she obi ankran say ye nkan yasinsi so obi ba se ye kra ye start ye hu si ye send this ka kofie na 1 CD to 5 eno kra ye send na 11 na ye su 12 na yesu bibia no ye mia ni anye tina me share abusuafo nya nkran say CD no reverse de onyi enti ye mia yani na ye obibi ya yenye no samre ya na kwam ye beda wase so say tap send a dream and also our mission for this month which is celebrating fathers no also show no wa adapt say also be dedicate one whole show to talk about fathers yeah that was a pan but ade am pese me ma abusuafo nyina hu new countries are ya launch which are non-Euro countries. Once your countries need be Europe, now so omundi Euro. Most of the countries in Eastern Europe and Scandinavian countries, no until they see our tap sender and ube hu your Sweden, ube hu your Norway, ube hu your Denmark, ube hu your Czech Republic, ube hu your Hungary, ube se hu yan so Romania. Intimate so hase ya na se there be as a tap Munche ma dear da ekwan abetimanya ade sa time we was a refer ni part 10 ni enche €150 £150. It is only mo bi wo countries ambubo din Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania. Baby I onim nipa 22 kra na wa qualify for 150 no. Nti eno anta o call app nim refer a friend now they are sending omo through WhatsApp, through your church groups. Fatum na man for new promo code na tap send and so and reward do. Enti na mesa bobo countries ni so bio. Send e be bia obi on ma watchro. Me show obi ani ma watchro pan em say wanti Romania no nti me say ka bio. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Czech Republic, Hungary and Romania. Na kwa me dase. These are the new countries that we have launched. And Malta. Obi say na say ye for Italians will be for Malta nti ye the Malta for so aka ho Malta so launched Malta live
enti said ye wo kan no na che metiase a say mimi code no OTMG1 na me de ma enkofo 10 a menya £150 free of charge na me say kofa another 10 esa be kan me say another £150
£300 £300 every 10 150
me abusuafo bi o Sweden
ana efine ya ekokosi ending of the month that is 30th day of June put me here every partner ubenya
na say me wa sorry bi nso Sweden enso me ka church members nyina say no menya zazika no
enkoma ye di ochiame kwame wa ha be ya me na si echi ochiame kwame no ka kakra bia ombefa akofoni omdi code okay ba kwechim so had the OTMG 1
eno kwa ni yisu ha yenyusu ene promo code bia edi mo kan chi mabusu afoso mo nyisu OTMG 1
ana we dase na ya my guest phone nyina so akwaba
yo kofi ya beda se ene anwumre se tap se na breni na mukita emu ema yetimi edi dwumadie ebre eye etiefo ene ahwefo enyina yo sabre me dane me ho na mafankrato me bape my guest omo aye ready na ye de enkomotwetwe no ahye so sede wa winim no. We are celebrating our fathers, and as part of the Father's Day celebration, and they show you dedicate amayem papa no. Nemum, yes, ya dedicate ya keke ni celebrate your ma keke ye pese ye hwe. Emre sisa emre dane ni hui yem papa no monro in our family life saying and etie saying na eko yem papa nom e wa hanom a ene omni e bedwetwe sa enkomo no me da na me ho me bape e be fiti nkomo twetwe na se na emum bomodi ana free obi no no so enjoy ne especially our fathers mon from no mon join ne yem ma me no so mon from no mon join ne say kwan ya yem papa no so e de fa so e wo yasetena mu sa abre na enkoyi a yem ma me no mra me kan kire yo ye da ne ho aba bape e be twetwe nkomo
Me did young antechua, and maybe I'm discovered for Europe. I come a bush for Ghana. No, me used to tap send. No fee mobile money transfer. A easy, a convenient, a fast, and sounds so free. Me discover a map him tap send. ATM also download the tap send app. No, ever mobile phone so free. Never see come a bush for Ghana for na tap send. Papa no.
So physical money and put me do rock to say. So me send ya my bush in a minute in Sabakandra and then one tap send.
Yeah, ebusiafo amanfo bidindi na nakoma kwachirewa 1. They recommended tap send amamo. And that's how for about send kofa baby da ye basa omo rating so ye omo ye A1 nti obia no do tap send na on say sika fa tap piao
ye ko hu de wo kire amansan ye ko hu de wo kire Ghana for say ye wa kwantu ne di sika kofi ne me ye mfa baby a ye be nu ye ho tap sign tap at the move tap send in this street
tap and one na
Tap the one
Yo, abusia for ye beda mu nyina ase se ena nwumre so ba bibia mu bia ma joining ewo dwumadie so ene eden ena ye di ho enkomo ene anwumre obroni ana se putoka se no say evolving role of fathers in the family, especially when it comes to the diaspora, Na ene anwumre we are so honored. We are so honored to have this distinguished guest to help us with this discussion. Na ene enyumre yem papa no ma omabeken ho a ye niomo eba betwetwe enkomo idiodi kan Reverend Canon Dr. Shadrach Ofosu-Ware, ono ena woye Christian Council UK and Ireland, ono na oye chairman and also head minister and as a head pastor, Freedom Center International Worldwide. Reverend Yeda Sepase ene enyumre onya ebre asan ababeken ho ewo dwumadie so. Na yemba pay onye hoho ewo dwumadie so wabaso several times. Ye bone punu abribia onya ebre ene eba betwetwe nkomo. Ene nso nyame aye adom wababeken ho. Baba Yami insha bebre.
Amen. That's it.
Yo, the otosu mienu enso me papa baako enso ye ko Italy Spain area honomo dia na chese sofu pani bia waye adwuma honomo achepa ye ka sofu dia wa chere mu na mum eba Italy Spain any empatem ho dia President Church of Ghana District Minister for Italy Spain Reverend Samuel Amankwa. Papa Nyame asumdwe nkan.
Also.
And what you want to say?
Radio don't know my Bible in me. That's what he has.
Yo, Papa, yeah, that's say enanyumre so onso ye bo open when ya ebre ede ababeka ye ho ewo dwumadie so. Yo, na ye toa so a actually de eka hu bia meka akire mu aba yem Papa Samuel Amankwa. Ye ya gaza ye nia the young papa Samson Amankwa, ye nua Daniel Amankwa, ne papa. Na akase de papa bebo ye nua kola na afi ono so ababeka asofudie no hu bi ba ye nua no akakakra oguso a ogentete yo ye to aso na the otoso miensan so ye nyina ye rap doctor Ochiame Kwame. Rap father. No, not rap father. Rap doctor. Papa. And then so na yen so say a bano the father figure and as a father role a player just say one fe ni agro kra one fe na busua sem ni agro me kan kra ni ma enenam na chi wono na hu say oye family man ankasa anything nyame ayi adom yen nia berima oye nyumtuni philanthropist creative designer oye bibie bi and osan TAPTAP send influencer nyame ayi adom yen nia Ochame Kwame nso ababeke ho ewo ene yen komotwetwin nti no we de yen kyere ho ye be fitin ase yen fanfiri yen papa amankwa ne yakọ rap doctor ho na fe yaba yen papa canon enso ehonmo ewo ene enkomotwetwin papa amankwa me de enkomo yi eto wanim no na je se enkomo bi a wani je ho pa izan se wadi usofu juma ewo Europe ache na miswa no na me enana efie ebe mission house na se ofie be mission house osofo ofie a na wote ensem a ya na ekoso enti ensem no de migiri se bebre na abawo na se watete bi ene ade ebra emre esesa emre ekonanim yem papa no a role in a family papa saying na wo hwa etie sabre ewo Europe anom
abusuafo michia mo nyina emre edane eniema sesa edika me kasase kristoni a na ye nyina yenim unyini papa kura na onim sa aka ne de nka agya won ni ro ana adwumadi ehye ne nsa eniema sesa aka ne ana agyanom etukwan kopesika befie ana se mpo omu ya adwumadi sika befie no na ena etifie na wotimi nya daagye hwe enkwala ne ade na ena sesa ene abrabomo dinti no ena nkoa ntimi ntena fie emma papa ndi ama emma no nso ai free the bronika se traditional role no ama omo nso ekọ adwumam ne senti na fata se yenya ye janom nanka kane se de nyame kan se yensan ye nim fifire emfa duane mra fie no ena koba se yenso emma no ye bie no ye be so modwuma no bi na ye ne wo mo eye saa bia yi ene wo mo sesei tize jabi wo ho na me ye jam ye be ma se de ye kan tete no a wo be ma saa ma wo fie nyina bo the fathers now must share kani ana ye ne ye disika be fie no ene to da bi kura emma no nye sika cheye se saa de a na kakra ye de ba no na emma no sidi bi ban emma na adwuma no nso yenuram bi na yenom emomnye. This is the beginning statement I would like to make. Madam Wase.
Yo yenko yenua berima Ochame enso ehonomo topiki bra ye de bra wo ye hwehwemu wa wohwe awasetena mu abusua mu sen na onso timi eka efa ho
on say emra na ye wo school no pa chote men kankama
Mete on kapa very loud and clear.
Emra na ye wo school no say bia teacher timi busa question na obinfo bi ama ne nsa so na waka wo de reverend waka me de
I mean now jina na 2-3 o say ye dey na me ba beka
nara enti kakra me de beka ani de ho ne say me so me ne ya adwen first no nanka bema role I will play beyond say obo ebusuane ho ban na say okopesika aba no na osanso play the key role of disciplinarian enti say okọ trek mpo ana say okọ afu mu ana bibia na watwe na woni ho ni nyina oba na trotro bone amofra ni di ye nyina enti ene papa na chi no oye nsemoni bia so papa ba beto o papa ba beto enti se na watwe se 3 days no ni ho ya tro bone a nkra ne ye nyina enti papa ba wo a number 1 uni ho Uba eswa. Una uba apply cane no. Enti every time dia mofra no engineer. Ewo omo adwene mu no. Omo maame yo odo. Omo maame eye bosom ema omo. Na omo papa de every time bi omo adwene ne ho bia. Na omo adwene ne ho in terms of punishment any scolding. Enti ene emema yesu abawi ase no. Yesu ehunyansa. Omo agimi ya che. Enti se mini wona sakra ne ensemone a wa ne nka me ba na se hu hia na me de kakra so but enye me na me de aba ebebo abofra ne wi a na wache na kwehye bedroom aka che se o papa de saa no tie the Father's Day dru a na me menya singlet ne ato benza ma ho enti ene father role no asesa kakra from just being a regular scolder and as a disciplinarian to 2 words. So we are
Ochame ne line no aya hodi kakra a unim
se na se o me yi o mu teenage years a where's the lot. Oh.
Ochame say meti ase kakra Ghana de uba ho no ma ya na internet no etimi twetwesi kakra o conclusion statement no etwesi kakra it's all time ubetimi asisu ho no bi mama ya na afi ya to aso
na me conclusion statement ne say ne 2 words are most progressive fathers modern progressive fathers use firm and friendly enti teneba ne edu ne mpanyimfie so kakra one na you are uncle Fabi and so still ne nsem odin e won so enye gidigidi kakra am dey asoso no
yo daddy yembra onso ohono mo say over the years ni how have you seen the role of fathers in the diaspora? Then also I would say what are some of the traditional roles that are evolving?
Medical Etia Sofopeni Samson and Masaitia Ochame. Nenuma to Monsieur Bipa, very good. I love his vibe. And Ubi online is be as Michiamo. As a matter of fact, in the sense that marriage and Kasano in sociology, afraid be social construct. It's a social construct. And we have to be very careful how we impose traditions. In the UK, the indigenous people no more kwan more worry. Ghana, yes, you kwan you worry. Oko Nigeria, Oko Australia, Oko society biana. They construct it in according to how they fit their way. Oba Bible mo krapa traditions are and what Bible ma Christopher no be brain no yafano. It is not complete. I've been in the UK not too long, but that almost 40 years. I'm at Krumhano. I have seen the way our marriages has evolved, and say a lot of marriages have broken up because people wanted to stick by the traditions that you knew from Ghana, and it doesn't work. In fact, some of the traditions are you need more Bible, even it has not even worked also because no more typical example. I'm going to say the woman is the financial head of the family. Now let's take an example. What were you be or yeah CEO of a big whatever company? Yeah, or no managing a company like maybe Marks and Spencer, and I say one of those big companies here, and he's taking that company to another level. Just say, take a company, it wasn't doing well. And what my managing company now to say, his salary is about $1 million, and then the bonus requires about $500,000, which I know some women like that. Now, what do you 30,000? What do you 30,000? Who own him to come manage £10 square amount to manage? Now, you are the head of the family. I was say, well, now, sika na did I be? Oh, I say it will be better for you to play the role in the house and look after the kids and let the woman bring all the monies so that the family can have some sort of way. But because of some of our traditional beliefs, or bear manner be we no into no or bano so oje adwuma. Na sa millions in no je ebetne fi. Na wo hwe no. Na a whole lot of things. Into for me, if I talk about marriage being a social construct, my point is that every two persons who agree that they want to spend their life together must evaluate their strengths and their weaknesses. And then in evaluating their strength and their weaknesses, they devise a way to make their marriage work within the context of the society they are living in. And where I'm coming from as a community leader, I have helped a lot of marriages become stable. Marriages are sometimes the fear of divorce. Now, this has helped them. Why? Because if you go like Suffer Samson candidate, the world is evolving and it's evolving very fast. And you cannot use any status quo to define your own relationship. You must look at your own strength and your weaknesses and then negotiate it. And then the two of you, into coming back to your question, as fathers, then we must understand, say, heritage is of fathers. We must understand, say, society is very dynamic. We must understand, say, we have a whole idea of how we need to bring up children, how we need to discipline children, how we need to work all these things, and we must do it in context. If you say, or Chama say, who a person who discipline Kolana, Rebecca say, Papa, you have to divide. So, shall the discipline now offer the ice cream side, depending on how the formation of the relationship works, so that at the end of the day, the purpose of God is done in that relationship.
At the end of the day, the purposes of God will be is done in that relationship. Based on that statement, Papa, remember back. Based on that statement, now I heard the role of the religion and culture in our setting today. But let me go to Ochame Kwame. Ochame, you'll be a Juma. Oh yeah, I mean, very busy man, very busy man. But yes, still. Family life in the agrokra me pese mi busa and say how important is emotional involvement and nurturing in the modern fatherhood, especially when it comes to modern setting here, saying Anna office important in our family.
Oh, Nana, thank you. We pacho wa juni mu do pa o. What was that question? You are question be say answer why say was saying I would why not any will be involvement of emotional involvement is very important. One, onipa da se ni biara se wadwene mu da wa wo ye miensa menim se osofo ebeka se body, spirit, soul. But from me observation, me who say, oh yeah, body, emotion, mind. In chat as of for the animal, but for me interaction with the society, Now, emotion, are responsible for a lot of things. A ho and a ojo a ho na long suffering war, a ho and a understanding war, a ho na wisdom war. A hona chese and your man and a candia unipa that's a ni here edibe develop the young one as a be interactive with the young one and now 80 meno personally me share me name my relationship and yamen kwame emotion and I made a guide or mo there be me share dear woman or musu share dear woman ho adia bako mama baby abe hune say raising the livestock and raising, nurturing a child to become a wholesome person with develop a skill set, a respectful, a kind of what empathy. It begins with showing sa and kwalano or mami all the and your mouth and cranny ebe nya wo mun penny fieso. The emotional relationship positive emotional relationship I want to have with my children, I first show it in example to their mother. It me a lot of respect, a lot of reverence, a lot of care, a lot of say me ne omo ma make kasa wo kasa kwan kwan papa so. Na omo ahye enti ade amema behu ne say children do not listen to advice. They imitate what we do. Enti to develop positive emotions from akwala no so betimi anya hunumu entiasie any ade no. It's about the way they watch you touch others. Eti omo maame ena me de ade na eche omunti. I don't tell them say mweni so ade meni so omo maame entokwa mu agro mu ebufuo mu enibre mu ohia mu na omo hwete wo sometimes won say omo buy me do omo go school na omo busa questions. Omo busa questions na yeah the answers neighbor. Another thing so me ma be hu personally. And I say me papa bo me pa obo me bebre enam senti e ka de Nyankopon fa kwan mu anke create this connection between me ne ono. But me ma me ya de say o twen ma dwen si so say obo because what do what I say yes sir enke fa nchen enti me personally say me de aba ebebo me ba say wagimi we aboa ende me nyeda ena fia ha so aye we aba nkasa ye de bo akwala ma twam ewa e ma twam because ade we enya odan ye mfa anya obi eti ade amahu ne say yensei anka wo de be bo akwala say abufu aba anase ni bra ba na wayan say wo do nsa ne tu ni kom na ne tena se e discuss ade na waye no na say wo de odo ene kasa dene ahobrase ene akwala ne kasa ti so onipa na say na adwene mu da wa obetie enti emotion conversation ne de eye one through example through role modeling, and two by showing the emotions now person crying a free woman who they chere wo say leader to say Christ edo asore no wo de sa odo na chere wo family no na wo mo nsusu ayi eti pacha ho nam de manu besi
yo medase ochami nyame enhyira obi abone nsem bebre e de ama e chat room honom yenko yen papa amankwa papa let's make this very practical yeba abrochiri hanom a dodo na yaba se yeba be ye adwuma ya pesika yakoboa abusuafo e wo fie ana se yeba be ye adwuma apesika na yasetena mu ayeye ade amayen na yape daachi papa bi se de ye nyini ye daachi no ye nyemobo enti ene adwuma yi a mienu miensa enan ne yeye how can fathers ye bitimi balance being the provider, then also being there for your mate emotionally, financially, and everything? How can we balance all this? Yes, still no, in your effect on the family. Now, a bit shapey the family for a better future.
Yeah, medasi nana. I can also medamasi. Papa, so for a cancer, they are very interesting over this. Practical example of the my oba woji aketua kese eche ni kun nanso nka traditionally ese ni kun enediso the greatest investment obia both families or governments can make any investing in human beings. Now I am very sad just a week a whole lot of things have come on my desk. Say, pe brabia bon, pe bibia kufienti. We are chasing money at the expense of our family. Ubusa say, how do we balance up? Money is not the answer to everything, even though the Bible says money answers everything, and your answer to everything. The answer to everything, any heritage, nyamedi amao, ya won. Now, well, I speak as a parent because I have a lot of children. As I say, your boy a homo didn't say, you're lazy, but you're overworking yourself at the expense of our children. It's a maybe I will be no. A better possible work something out. So be I will be mere any family atnasi abon komo. I share a whole lot life. if say ya anya saa na say ye peribia kofie ntia wo UK ndi wonim de ye ka obi a wa brochire bia nim enne kwala boni aba no dosu papa because maami kura free ansa na papa free nne in fact redefining roles no be enne mema mebre na de wo mako school yeah because oba no be kwaja be ma no koja akura no school ne kofa bakura mpo to da bia etimi detain kwala no bi ho because parent bia ma ya obefa no na in between these times no akura no wiase ene na wofo wiase no distant apart ohuni papa obi be huni papa na ne mama a is a weekend in fact obi a wo afidie su tie no hu say you can acquire your billions but say emma nyamede amawo no and live to a certain level usika ni nyina ye sebe sika hunu because who is going to spend that money after you have gone ejime kasi so say we must balance up enya adwuma nyina na compulsory say we in fact no matter how much money ye free say adwuma no ban so obenya adwuma akatua no kura wo fam kakra nemu ubenya mre ene wo matitiriu edi nkoma very very important meaning say winim because why akwalada the father is always a hero in the house even though akane no say the wachiame kan no disciplinarians o papa ba me ka kire no em say na de na kura yitwam kura because we papa we hero ema wo ma enti esese wo ma hero ayina wo no kwala no how do they see it sometimes you find time even to feed them and I know ba ko yerezo wo mana duane me ko ya wo so wani yeah but I didn't believe say only I pick it and I started giving and the whole plate was dinina so what I say na say akwala edidi free ni papa nsemu a e masa attachment na kan e wo bin say ni man be nko an timi feeding no is off it's my advice and say yes roles have changed. We must also play the woman's role, much as some women are playing the men's role. But above it all, ye mema, yama ye nini ye mahu. Niye hu se, sa respect na omde ma ye, ensure na omunyini enye responsible children instead of delinquents ye hu onenu. Aha na me pese me de manusi.
Medase papa, medase pa nyame enhira. Menko yem papa Shadrack ehonomo enso. Papa research actually say UK hanom youth bebra ewo eye prison no dodo na eye tuntumfo ebiemu nso asan actually say enkwala boni a omo eti street so edi omo eko joining gangs dodo na efi broken homes ene mi busa say papa from your own perspective, how do faith and spiritual leadership influence the evolving role of fathers in the diaspora?
Wow, that's a deep question. That's a deep one. There's so many forums going on to really deal with this this matter. Very good question. But what some of these guys have come up with is identity crisis. And you know, because there is identity crisis, it is causing a lot of the children, because sometimes, the way our behavior will feel, the parents reject it in the sense, say, "Waku school aba, maybe our casa, see our dressy, or trousers, opese uburuti odi sumadeshe wemo and all those things, and then it becomes a real problem. They don't know whether they have to go with this Ghanaian traditions that we are forcing down to them, or when they go to school, the children they play with in the playground and so on and so forth, and then when they go to church also, there's a conflict there. And I don't know the direct answer to the question, but what I know about the research also is that they found out, say, in the families where love plays the paramount thing in the family, the chances say kwalano ebe delinquent in Sanyaman are very, very low. The number one, where the mother and the father, they love each other. and both of them, they love the child and they spend quality time with the child. You use the UK model, so I'll respond with the UK model. A typical child in the UK, or sorry, I'm pa, you might be never public garden, no school. On school, a stranger will take care of the child from the morning till 3 o'clock or whatever. Upon not a school club, after school club. And then the papa na nani mama no ba be fa no maybe 5 o'clock and now 6 upon juma. Upon juma na wa yede oni na be foni ni be fie no straight away on we aduana ma no ne all those we are taking back into bed. Now the whole week, the time I was spending with Akwala no it's only about 2-3 hours, and that quality time because obviously I was so prepared no order. Kroma so said that one day no occur school at the chain, no occur with school. Social services will be at your back, so you want to make sure say he sleeps on time and all that. About weekender, sending my men and papa no me software, and I say me software, or me Christians. They will have to go to ABA elders meeting, and now they will go to funeral meeting. Funeral, and now they will go to naming ceremony, and now they will go whatever. Until Saturday, they have to spend that quality time with the child. No, they don't get to spend the quality time with the child. If you live in the UK here, you know how Saturday there's an event. When you're cruise to New Crapper, there is a year, there is funeral, there's a party, there is this, there's that. Come Sunday, say Christopher, they go to church and then they come home and eat. Into show the whole week, the quality time I was saying I will follow any akwala spend very minimal, and then the cycle begins again. Until if the parents, especially the father, does not become intentional in showing love, and even if it is 1 hour in a day, krana and not 2 hours, and be intentional about it now, the children drift. But another thing now. I think so we have to also look at this. We have to be able to gain understanding of whatever dynamics we have in our relationship. Because when you say Bibiano, you have to teach it. If you don't teach it to the children, say no, yeah, if you say, you believe in say. Chame can be I like very much. Say on finance and can money be edda. The same thing. My father never beat me, never used a belt, never killed me, because my father knew all of us were a lot. But Utiamia, Nama set it up. And because of that, my father never had opportunity to, because Utiamia, I'll do the right thing. So there was no point beating me. But Mechibano, you're shitting the belt every day because of only life when a different. But father being what he studied, was able to see all the children and how he dealt with them. In my own life, I never beat my children. I never even smacked them or anything like that. I use education, and they have all turned out very well. And you have to understand who you've given birth to. You have to understand that if the research out there says that identity is the problem, the key problem now, let us show them that we are Ghanaian, baby Fiban, Yan Kasasa, baby Fiban, Yan Penifo, and a lot of them, back with love, they will respond. And as a pastor and also a key community leader in the UK, I have seen a lot of people do that. And their families are doing very well, even in the midst of the challenges we have. And then those who are involved in knife crime, like you rightly said, a lot of them are coming from broken homes. And some of them cry. The sad thing is that their parents are in the same home, but they don't love the children. They don't love each other. And children learn by observation. So when they realize that, they find solace somewhere else. And sometimes they become victims to this. So we need to pay attention to the children because observation helps them, and the identity we must enforce for them to understand who they are truly.
Daddy, based on this, a dear message and a nay, Odebema yen papa noa, womu 80 yen, as we are celebrating our fathers on Sunday. A dear message and a ubekase, ubejina and ejumedi, so akache papa noa and a oti ejumedi.
For me, it's boils down to one thing. It boils down to one thing: love. You must spend quality time with your children. Children are you see, they don't need much from the father. Even Uchomoko McDonald's once a week. Uchomoko McDonald's once a week. Uchomoko ice cream parlor once a week. What you say? It does something to them. Oh, me say me too quite as you know me. But anytime I'm around my kids, I want them. Sometimes from no matter like when we drive, we go on a joy ride just to make them feel that and we have a very clear we had a very clear rule. Me catch me say you two kind together. Me two kind we until at the end of the day we did that. There are practical ways, and one of those practical ways, now I say it again, is love. When I collect him saying about me Edona and any papa Edona, my goodness, they will do anything. Who catch any question? But when you said the papa Edina, sometimes they cry like so for Samson said and Chame Kwame so have said no same thing. And sideway what the lavo akolano. Untumi fambo no. What you say? When you show love and the kids know so they go to school and they got teachers and they know what love is. They know how these are things that are inculcated in our lives. So we need to pinpoint it in them and then draw it out. And you'll be amazed. Say, Obeko for 2 weeks. Obana quality or no channel. Obapin will free at now lapse. Because what any moment you spend with them, no, it oozes love. And you may not need 24 hours. Even that uye Juma Krana say, I was so this kabifi because Chroma say in a day, you have to pay the mortgage, you have to pay the bills, you have to do all those things. You cannot tell me say Jay Juma nebetine fee. And this is Ghana, obitimi fee the whole year on your rent. So you're okay. How no when your rent 1 week a wounding some identity. And sometimes it's necessary for us to go. But the little time we have with them, let us impart them that we love them by the way we act with them.
Yo, Papa, better as be brave. Mami ko Ochami ehonum. Ochami, yebesi yehu ekwanya utimi efa so to develop that close relationship with one womba. Just say oni omunamwa eyefekeke. Aside that, the industry that you are in, no, there is a whole lot of societal expectation. You'll be overwhelmed with playing gigs here and there to meet societal expectation. Maybe anka wabusuya semunsono nanka umano aje unsem. A day advice and I'll debema and ne papa for eba. Looking back, how we start to hear the wababi do with your family.
My main story to be there's 10 years ago. Now me running a communications company, be a very firm bridges. Near dealing with a lot of global companies. To say Coca-Cola money idea. Now stress na a work no. Now stress na so yeah strategies. Into sponsorships, strategies, meetings. Sometimes me coffee, sometimes na traffic so chrome. It be a makodu fie and you mrebe 8. Now me pressure with memo workers, my pressure or more more get 80 Buba kodu fie no. Nya wa breakeke. Now obu asenfu. But me do fie na me bie puno. Now nkwani tiem daddy. Immediately stress na ewo me so ni nyina metimi jato epon na no ansa ne mawuram enti am there e mentimi fa stress yi man kola yi dia adentina ka me di me kopia gu me yere so anase adentina maso stress yi twi anopa ebesi anwumre abra me ankas metimi de stress ya to a enti e kire me ma me beti ase ese enkwala na mo ba wiase o mo kan kirem se me for ma wiase mia na makoye ma de nam do o maba enti o hawa mi kom expectations e wo me so eni ade nyina enye kama se me transfer sa stress na say me transfer sa fear no de amankwala enti I came to learn. This is about 10 years ago. My daughter was probably 3. I came to learn say men separating me work from fear. It is a me free studio and not a me free office. Now me bedroom fear me a daddy. And me fast stress say me call adwuma no me kwati ani je sembia. Met me aka. But say me call and me ko pra adwuma mu a me fam emesua akwala bia na say me fam mesua obi anti And you one. The second thing they say, my dream say, baby and nipa mienu anase miensem be hia mu wo dom no onyankopon wo ho. Enti me created the atmosphere of heavenly peace. Ewo me fear. Adia ede sa heavenly peace ne ba according to me mofra observation. Eye consistently boni ayede che. Isani Yesu kan ye no. As we forgive those who trespass against us. What you say? Na ede osra hini enu aba. Enti bia boni free any odo any ahobrase ne ntiase wo no. Onyankopon honhom wo. Na baby onyankopon honhom wo bia odo enete ho. My Bible who say as parents our key responsibility in modern times is to make sure we do not transfer our fears onto our children. And to the fear, say, one call law school, ubaya kwasi ampenyi, one ya accountant, ubaya kwasi ampenyi, one yes say, wabra bonkoye. If you do not go through the regular system, I am me nyako kwa bwa me so mere na adwemu da ho. Enti me no observe nkwala no. Then we try our best to tease out of them anyoma enyakopon de dua wo mumu dada. Enti pressure ankasa, pressure to say kodi first, pressure say behave a certain way, pressure say every year bia say you two kwan be 3 times no go school atimi akodwa wanum. Sa pressure no en e bi ni fia. Enti ye observe wo mo pa ena ye do mo and ye di peace ankasa ego fie said the bear almost so I was stressed or dealing with homework, schoolwork, bullying near there. So I'm betting afa ehu fie say a haven. To answer your question, I do not transfer my fear and the pressure of my work into my home. I try to create an atmosphere of heavenly peace and love so that the children can thrive. But my main concern back say yes, sister. Unyan en more bra Emma women in free fee enquire responsible citizens of a country. You don't qualify to be a good father. I do not qualify, but I am trying my best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ochame. Now, say enkofo bebre na so our question ebusa about young papa role in the family, especially in our changing world today. Yebema enkofo so ho kwan for them to ask questions. Mamemfa we enso enko young papa ho na menjom conclusion statement na fe yema kwan na manfo so our question ebusa no omonso ede omo question aba. Yo, Baba, the same question I am Papa Shadrach. What message do you believe religious leaders should share with fathers about their role as protector, provider, and partner in today's society?
Happy Father's Day. Yeah, provider, protector, partner. A dear advice. Me the mama who as a father. Now for me, other fathers. And they say, we must always accept and know. Say, God described himself as a father. And he say, yeah, fathers are. In a way, we are playing a godly role in a home. Now, we are not fathers because of what we say. And yet, you can't, me a janum, a 1 year, a microphone. Ye Janyankopon eyi do kire yen so ye genti fa na no kra de o se de jan eyam hwehye no ma ne ba no sa na ono so eyam hwehye ema yen Papa Shadrach e kan sem be intentional say ye fathers nyina ye intentional what ye bia. Number 1 ye no ye ma because enam ye so eno mo bae. Si e do mo so a yemfo mo asem nya yasem by way say ye benya mre ma wo the tosumiensa and maybe the last is that ye be man komodi e wo fie no aye enkomodi a emu ohwam ye ne ye yire ebesre da na nkwara da sua sa bi ye ne ye yire ne ye ma ebetu anamawa bom na nkwara da faso sua said ye me sha ase ye kan ye no the father is always a hero in the house. They say ye play heroic role ewo ya brabo papa ye da na di odo amapa ye kire won a ye mofra no so benyi in that environment sa odo abrabo emu nom de pie akwabonti akobo brapa ahye nyankopon ya wode o man no anunyam ne da mo ase
Yo, better Munina so ase. Finally, my last question to Munina na fe yama amanfo nso ho kwan na omonso abusa questions. Oh, Ade, my apologies. I can see Ade put a question in the chat room. Yes, Ade, every platform you have a mode of communication, and the language that we use on this platform is our local language, which is Tree. But we try our best to blend it. But forgive us if we are speaking too much of our local language, but that is the mode of communication that we use on this platform. Thank you very much. Looking ahead, what do you think the future of fatherhood in the diaspora, in our family, in our community looks like? And is there any new emerging roles I am papa no ebetimia player na? Looking ahead, how does fatherhood looks like? Yem free yem papa Shadrako or Chami na yede papa Samson. Mo last mo conclusion statement aka ho na fe yamanko for ho kwan o mo question bia no mo so abusa.
Am I permitted to answer this as a pastor or as an ordinary Christian?
But your finding nyina fra man.
As a pastor, I have seen a trend, and the trend they say fatherhood is being undermined seriously. And Yansha, it will go worse. And we really need to address that in our families. Because if we don't address that, we will lose especially our male children. And if we do that, that will itself create a big problem for our communities. And the Bible is very clear about the end time prophecy that fatherhood will be undermined. And I was saying now, yeah, careful. For the Bible says, honor your father and your mother. That word honor, no, a very powerful thing. And ma said in previous, divorce, we should not undermine their fathers to them in order to gain sole responsibility for the children or the love of the children. And sometimes the person that is the custodian of the children, they play the children against the other person. Bible says, honor your father. One case of papa honor, or ya the bonia me honor. It is a command. Into whether papa or your papa or your papa or sika or yesiko or your day or your day, your place is to honor your father. And then whatever he is, no nyankupan kasa ene bedeli. Into the first thing we need to understand is that word honor, it's there to guard against the decay of fatherhood. And a lot of them losing their identity, some of them ending up in prison and all those things is because of that. And those who have not also ended up in prison and all that kind of stuff, unfortunately, they have been poisoned against their fathers because the relationship between their mothers and their fathers didn't go when they are weaponizing the children. And that is very dangerous. Oba sana, you are telling yourself, say, at the end of the day, how do I put it? In fact, you are spoiling the future of the child, and it is no good. Men shouldn't do that against their wives, and wives shouldn't do that against their way. Until me answering it from a pastoral point of view, it's that we have to be very careful because it is one of the signs of the end time where fatherhood will be undermined. Malachi, it talks about that. Now, from a general societal point of view, we have to be able to empower our children to become great in society. And how do our children learn? By observation. Into whatever we do in their presence, we must make sure that it builds them up, and we should shield them away from anything that can destroy them. And we rather empower them to become, especially our male children, greater fathers than even we as the fathers.
Yo, Ajami, inti onso.
Okay, Mpacho. The Medrin say the modern father and the responsibilities. Medrin said the di kind pa. Say obe boa ne bano. I'm gonna a proper understanding of the brain. adwene na ɛda ne tirim na yɛ de anyi ɛwɔ frontal cortex ɛwɔ prefrontal cortex ɛwɔ hippocampus na saa nneɛma na ɛde da tirim ne yɛ de science neuroscience akyerɛ sɛ bɛrima na adwene ne develop fully by 25 and that is the timer the frontal cortex no develop fully within that time no obebo plate obetime didi mpanimfo atem obetime yesei nya ne ho abotre enkola ne bi wo wa omo ye slow boomers ebi ye early boomer me ko school no na me nim nwoma na no ka ho na papa bo me no but onyankopon adom my masters 3 me ye PhD at 50 enti me ye slow boomer when it comes to say me hu nwoma because ebi am prefrontal cortex no was not very developed yenya enkra no ho abotre na ye compare omo to other children ye compare omo to their siblings hwe de amaye other now they won't anya say obia ne time na adwene develop to a certain place enti helping the children to think and also very important because the brain as we have come to see is a self-sabotaging creative tool enti a time we say so kwesi uni o macross so da kakra share Netflix kakra time e say okosu because the brain is in a constant struggle with the body which wants to sleep rest and have sex and watch porn what you say enti say your ma enkwala ne ti ase say omo brain the master of the body and we teach them how to curate the right thoughts positive self-affirmations and how to use the brain to better the human body and better the environment without its compulsive nature na sabotage body no emma body na ye kwasi ampani. I think another thing so the modern parents must do is that AI is taking over the world. Ebe kakra AI obeye fu obeye surgery obeye court work obeye ni nyina enti as a father no how do you position your child in this emerging global market to become successful and to be able to develop skill sets ebeye relevant to the changing times. I think that is also one of the key things as a parent here. And finally we are what we eat enti ediane ben and how they ma kwan o kire wo ma no ekwan a wo mo fa so didi on benya the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbohydrates, the right amount of minerals to ediane ni mu, exercise, gym. How do you use food, education, morality, ethics, touch, relationships to develop them to a point optimally sharp in their brains? Because as long as the brain is working, spirituality will work, decency will be there, and they will develop a skill set that they can use kindly to benefit themselves and the world. Thank you.
Ochame untimi emfi programmi so enko a wo mame one a cappella. Rap doctor.
Oh, mama.
Rap doctor. Ebia ofi se enanwumre ubetimi the amai ansana yamankofo abusa questions ansana yem papa nso the conclusion statement abano emu bia ebia we
Meya won komode abra wo raho me fa me hontete da mesrao be di odon to mapa na ebe frao ahobrase mpabo ade ebe hiao utuntum seyo maye krado mesegu ano mawatiem wow she your ba penny kwa me sanseni me subamboni wuja me mewo sujani me kai da me hiao na mano popo me se so chiame wase dia me ntoto we me bo hoka kofiti mi tia dodo dala si dala de odubedi agrebe ye to mamento be se maji wedi ti na be danedi winji di mesi bisa ko ofi wo na me fe eli so bi pe dia aka echi bo hobi me de makoma madwe me nya sane done me ti me nyi na refi go te me bo nyi bad esa ba mo fani free
Bitimi zenkofo wo mo dem no almost ochame ye beda
tap send Ono na mari nyina ya possible tap send yakoko nhyira mo bu adwuma.
Ochami, there is no any money transfer company obetimi ayewe at the amom community. There is none. Ebi no me start here they try say almost be copy but omo entimi anye. Omo eye Zoom meeting need the 5 penalty ase. Okay.
Standard the
Yanko papa amangwa honomo na yenjo no nso ne perspective when it comes to the going forward na yemfa ne conclusion statement na afi mama nso ho kwan na ode question awo edema yem papa no mo aba minim se ma no e questions pa ma no questions yo yetie papa
future for fathers 70 year me Kristo ni me je awrade di minim se ne papa e wo yanim nanso me a realist ya meka say fathers must stand well if the future no a shaky shaky because women are now not respecting marriages but chasing money. Enti say we kunumpa he's ready to sacrifice you in order to get social assistance and kick you away. Senti the future for fathers hu kakra. Na medika can say onyankopon friend ho father. Na the Father God came down to earth to meet us. Eti future no ye janom no. Let us go down back to the basics. If I start doing things differently, at least to win the confidence of our children and the confidence of our wives. Because left alone, said we are nipa be pesika achawade, especially in our kind of community. War hatred ma member, and they will support women for, sorry to say, some of the things they do, which is even ungodly. In the fathers, minka we say because in the end, the woman also needs love. It is most women are not stable because but if we can show love like God showed to us by coming down, we can have our families together and build a better future. But let me say it again, the future is not the best, especially so say yeah, so that is where we are. Fathers, yeah, you better hold community together because the society, whether whatever, still rest most of us on us. God is asking more from the man, responsibility for families. Madam was
Papa, meda se pa meda yem papa no nyina ase enne anwumre e wo momra monya ede amayen abia afi and I want to join here e wo dwumadie so we are discussing the evolving role of fathers in the family, especially diaspora hanoma yete as them say omo providers, protectors and partners and all enkomo and ye twetwe ene anwumre nti say o question bia ye dane ye fankra to ba ko ye ba na afi ya ma nso ho kwan wo the contribution ebeba ana say question bia wo edema ye papa nmi obetimi ede aba as part of our Father's Day celebration no ene na ye de ye papa no ma ba ye di nkomo afa ye papa no ho their role in the family nti ye dane ho ye ba ma ho kwan na also ode o question aba na mu papa o kan asem bi last statement ni mu as they say ye maame no mu omu aware wo mu chesi sika enti so betimi apam wo be ma no kra na je say aban ebe ma no support kakra obepam wo si abonten obekọ adwuma beba na no magu abonten ba ye nyamra ye bedi nkomo afa se fathers and I say mema ebedo wom yirenom no mo yirenom so be submit ama wom ekunu no mo honom na sometimes problem no efidi pa ye benya kwan ni atwetwe sa enkomo no with time, but any day we will still focus on our father's role in the family, especially in our diaspora community. Yeah, Daniel, ye beba sisia. Producer, yen call for a quick ad break. Yebema aman for hukwain na omo so ewo question bi a omo ede aba ene enwumre ewo dwumadie so. Anitimi se wa mami sima baako yen dane ye ho embra sisi a yebefa all your questions.
My chef and party planner. You know we can't get this retirement/birthday shindig go wrong.
Everything is almost ready, but small problem.
Why, what's up? We are way over budget, Kweku. Everything is almost twice the estimate.
Adibab, okay? No worries.
So with TAPTAP Send, I have got a cake and decorations covered for the year.
You handle the food.
If any extra expenses comes up, just text me or call me.
I'm off today, so I should be easily reachable.
Hey, Chairman, it is for day.
Say, no be easy, you. Chairman has time and money.
Allah,
Kweku tap, Kweku do, Kweku do.
Ah, Chairman can call you.
Hey, Alande, Chairman send them.
TAPTAP Send. Papa no.
So physical money and put me do round to so me send you my within a minute in Sabakandia and then one TAPTAP Send.
Yeah, ebusiafo amanfo bidindi na nakoma kwachrewa 1. They recommended TAPTAP Send amamo. And that's for aba. O send ko fa baby a. Da ye basa. Omo rating so ye. Omo ye A1. Nti obian no do TAPTAP Send. Na on say sika fa TAPTAP. Piao.
Yebo hu de wo kire amansan. Yebo hu de wo kire Ghana for say. Ye wa kwantu ne di sika kofi ne. Me ye mfa baby a ye benu ye ho. TAPTAP Send, TAPTAP at the Mufua, TAPTAP Send in this asu.
TAPTAP, and one in
TAPTAP, the one.
Yo, bedama se munya ebre ema yetimi edane ye ho ebae TAPTAP de enwa ena eko TAPTAP ejumaku no nekita emu ema yetimi edi dwumadie ebro every Thursday bia and it say won download the TAPTAP abomodin a call App Store, Play Store na download the TAPTAP now so namso fa send sika ekoboa abusuafo ewo o my Ghana mu ene o se o adamfo bi no e Jamaica ni aka chen se ene TAPTAP Send obetimi ayusu asend sika edi akọ Jamaica sa so na other countries in so TAPTAP ABB omo adwuma no e wo hono ebi nti bomodin na kanfo ema afoforo na wo kanfo ma afoforo no na TAPTAP Send so chewade o se ene o refer enipa 10 no me use TAPTAP Send with your referral code ubenya £150, dollars or euros. TAPTAP Send or say papa no. Yo, yanko na yemfa questions. Say question be and a contribution about this discussion yeah. Ubitimi ama onsa so zoom no so me file now the question and now contribution aba ubitimi so the ato chat room honum na mebusa ede amount. Yo, the edi kan papa no Obi said divorce is on the increase. What is the church or the community doing to stop it or to stop this? Every papa amankwa first. Papa, our rijaye, kwa na ekoso, ewo yen community mu. Impo yen safu mu. Ede ne yafa mu.
Yeah. Very sad.
Ede impo ne de sa ade eba.
Yeah, very, very sad development. Very, very sad. Sad in the sense that it looks even more in the church than outside. Ubusa said dear and the diaba. First factor, a kwanya ye fasu kwa wadimu. And niema ye expect e wadimu. Any something be a young hunu ni uremu. In fact, say yanka ye kwa wadimu se GD4 the first year. Na ye kwa wadimu se yasre nyame eno ama yen die ode ma yen ya. But when him say we jump most of these things, especially obi a wote abrochire ozo ko ware a ompa abrochire ni but opagana ni mi wa gana ni no so obi odine ti ho but ofra abrochire nti na oba kan o say oba ya nya wade o obeja o eti the American say obi bu say what can the church do? The church is already doing a lot, but say church, you know, if we can bring the message to the church members, the more we will love God, the more we will love our partner. Because nyamisi impo yatamfo, normal, let alone yahukafo. Eti kosi se yebehunu nyame ya ginedi. Any gidia yikuremu. Na fe yawade no nye just a marriage of convenience, but a nyame mu do ene ewura mu no. Ye wadwuma ye nanso nyame betimi aboye e betimi aye. That's
ye wadwuma ye nanso nyame e betimi aboye. Ochame enka eba no awarija ye dia ye mfa mefa waboboa no izanse se de wo ne wo yire entamutie no. Na die yi ena ugiri se ema ebinom de wo muntimi enya saa wodo no ema won ho se de ono yire tie na awarija ye kwa na ekoso. Ochame de ne betimi ayesia no.
Ye di kind no medwin se awarija ye na ekoso saa no. Statistics, I'm saying a free 51%, between 51 to 57% of all marriages are able. Megin say a quite be so no. And canino na a ma any memetia warimuno. Now a munti many gym. Na ayon kofenia warinim. Na obuoni or donim. Na a nam the new concept of neoliberalism. Enti ama ma ankasa any feminism ti ama ma etimi anya hodin bi se meti aware mu na enye da meko enti I am not speaking under the assumption say enkantete no na aware mu ode nananse enye de if we say traditions are any cultures are accurate aware no senia na etie dada no sa na etie nene opportunity aba say o aware mu na enye da fioko enti esese ye hwe sa nuances ni ye pa fi se first we bon say papa bi ne yire no miensa but enam say man nyina dan ono odidi a omo adidi nti omo nyina aware nim ye say aware mu ede because nkofo ntenya aware obi akoye adwuma nti se wo mu media na ekọ be eti media medwen say ade a ebetimi aye edi ama aware agina Africa for we atima make them I know the sumina so make with all the respect. Ye school aye ko nyina ye nkyere si na ye dwene. Me call kindergarten go to secondary school, sixth form, university, tech Legon. GIJ. Me nya critical thinking da. Obra ye boy so ye de adwene na ebo. Enti se yan chiasi ni aye dwene a yen develop because where they need a developmental develop any mental and to say if our whole society no ya hwehwe no say yen sua adwene a society ni be hwegu aware be hwegu asori be hwegu adwuma be hwegu development ma politicians be wi ade enti ye pes ese ye kire mofra senior ye dwene say the be omo be choose partners a omo ebetimi no omo anya yonkofa 4 years ago, me read your book be Love Lockdown. Now ye research ye wo UK. Ye ne nipa 200 one way at least high school diploma. And you busa almost say adenti na worry. Emu 3% pe ene ka say me ware free say na me do me yonko na say me je me ho anyinti me ware nam na tena say ebi say na me po bi na oka me po ba bi ne na tena me busuafo si me nyini dodo me ma me say me nyini awo ne betwam maintenance enti the purpose for which we go into marriages 97 ani boko 97% of the time ya na purpose nti aye ko ware no e defeat aware no from the get go enti kakra mpese me kan say momma yan kire ye ma ekwan a mo fa so dwene ye ma mo say difficult questions ye no mo discuss critical thinking mo amoti abroche dem ye sure say Cambridge system a lot of critical thinking wom but omo be fia ye no omo nsusu ye kasa kan kasa aba ankasa wa seminimu abebuo ene ade a guide ye ma yetimi dwene no moma ye say yetimi kire ye ma no ekwan mo fa so dwene a they are sure say they will make great decisions including picking the right partners for marriage.
Yo ajami beda asipa na asema wakan de asem kese eno akọbọ so pa ezanse Ghana school na ye kono de chiwempo enti obi ohonom a obetena onko sua de wonye hwe ezanse bedu so a no akotu apọ wakochi no apọ owi a asa yede no kotu adwuma ma ontimi nya hwe ye bepeda na ye disa enkomo no later ezanse mi experience ohun kakra bribina school am call kakra na ye my case study a me makobo night na maba enti sa case study no kra me kan ye enti me cost study group na me ntimi nwene ena maka bibia enu anse misi ho na nke Ghana university so a minimba bia apono ebetu aba makwakosua exams do a ma pass me ko. That is how we do it, but we find time to discuss that our education system in Ghana. Yo papa, divorce is on the rise. What is the church doing about it?
Well, it's a problem, and unfortunately, if you look at it by percentage now, it is even higher within the church in terms of that's the research that we have. But the sad thing is, we say society break it down because of breaking down parenting, all that kind of stuff. But you notice, there's no university, there's no school over parenting as a standard. So if we are really saying parenting causes problems, why don't we make it elective and we make it a compulsory subject? I say finance. Mostly handle but no, it could be anywhere you show how to maintain your finance unless you're going to do actual course in accountancy and stuff like that. It is something that we have to understand, a conspiracy as somebody puts it, but that is another story. Within the church setting, we have the problems too. Because you see, the older we get, the church has become a suspicious place for a lot of people. And so the doctrines that we held some years back, those doctrines are now being challenged, not even by non-believers, but by the church itself. Into the people who are counseling, counseling. Maybe so because of counseling, so for no counsel, so for no counseling, divorce, no counseling. What does he know about these things? There's a whole complex situation. But among all, I'm going to bring up just one, and that is lack of partners. Right now, in our society, it seems like in the world general, I think it is 51% to 49 or something. A mad also say a member. And then when you come to the church now, it is about 1 man to 6 wives. 6 girls or something like that. I've forgotten the exact way, but it's around that way. And obia epenyonyam, because the society is telling us, warrior, we need nunyam. And a lot of people go into marriage not because they really, really want to get married, but as a matter of fact, to fit in the status quo. And then fitting in that status quo, obi around biano, sebio, society back just say, settle down, we. And then people now get into relationships for the world, and now those outside to see, say, at least me and Mrs. That is why even and there will be divorce and that's the kawasheno as Mrs. Onyoria, Obama no move on, wako wa ruby fufu, but Obano still a fan who as Mrs. So and so and so so on drop the Mrs. and funny media name no back Debbie because this is society's way, and unfortunately, it is the church that has pushed that agenda. I am very different in my mentality on that. I personally think, say, it's better to be single and enjoy your life than be hooked to somebody. Who be going to domestic abuse. You will go into pain and 25 years when you get that stress, all that kind of stuff. Look, if you and I don't know much about Ochiame, but from what you are telling me, it looks like he's in a very, very wonderful relationship. You must be blessed to have a wife or a husband that loves you like that, that is committed to you. These things you don't find these days like that. And don't you know, even there are those in relationship only for that, only because Obama no call worry on don't know. But then you want to create that facade, say, I am a Mrs., and then vice versa. And a member also know it has become a very big problem for a member because a member, people throw themselves at you all the time. I'm a pastor, I'm a man, and I can tell you, you travel a lot, and sometimes people want to just have a taste of the pie. Why? Because the relationship in which they are, it is not as they portray it to be. Cut a long story short, what did the church do about it? I think that we have prayed enough. I think we have to be very honest and tell people that at the end of the day, there must be compatibility for marriage. It is not spirituality. It is compatibility. Because at the end of the day, the Bible says that dwell with one another according to knowledge. So if you don't know somebody that well, you really, really cannot go into a relationship with a person. It's not about prayer. It's about compatibility. And to me say, I don't know how to do dishes. Fortunately, my wife and wife, she loved doing dishes. It never be conflict in the way between me and me. My mom taught us all how to cook. And I can go to the kitchen and cook, and my wife will also clean, and there's no fight. It is a idea. Me friend say me washing dishes. Me the way example. Now me so washing dishes. There will always be fight in that area, isn't it? So there's some compatibility there. Wako waruwa we need to wash. Wasa kwaro biso we need to wash. Ebeson and pananda de tokwa. No. You must learn compatibility. We have to understand these things, but I don't think we are close to that. The reason why I say that I'm not being pessimistic, but the reason I say that, they say there are too many women and there are few men, and the too many women would begin to fight the few men. Does it mean that we have to now discuss the role of polygamy? I don't know, but the church has a big role to play.
Baba mepe eda na me de waba on this topic, polygamy. Achami, Papa said, Ojidi said, na said the woman submission ya deno. Otimi said you are in a very you are in a comfortable lead in your marriage. Let me use that.
I'm in a comfortable zone. Enti bookie, 2 books. So love lockdown. Me ne try. Enti book 1. Finding a lasting love relationship. And a book 2, maintaining a lasting love relationship. We discuss the reasons in divorce, cost side, how to choose the right friend. Of course, but some when need to choose best friend. But chief, who can say be now said a mad also change a mema will say enter sao. A member named Maya Pepe. I sorry ni mu and a mad also, but
once the mechanic, they see the latest we know 51 point something and the men here we, but in terms of when it looks the same, but then women are more. But then I said also say in the church, then it is more. That's right. But in the world, no, it is a balance, but the women are more. It's about 51 and then 48. Yeah.
Also do any be pepe. It mean menting famosa. Me pa eti wo a wutie no wada roma say who call online I obenya me book hi biato. Yes me ye free advert, but me dream say for young couples. Ye draw book no from a very young perspective. Ti wa who call online now to be am sure say e betimi abo akakra ya nsu enim no ya share wa me das
yo ochami on this show ya peda na ya engage woni oyire na mpacho wanyi bia se ene hani e wo hono ma ko betimi atwam na mabusa no question ba ko pe se hana hani se ha adwen dia me busa no question ba ko pe na minja na onko delay busa no question bi sometime when ya no ya be peda na busa no one day. but that is not the question I'm going to ask. That's not the question. Sonia ready to the another time. Ochame, you are on mute. We can't hear you. We can still hear you, Ochame.
Semenka, me say another time. When you're ready, Papa.
Another time, me busa no near or ye ma wa sabri wunti ni hu jai no emrepemu ye bebusa no yenko yanim yenko yanim na yemfa the next question ewa me unse nkofo ask send the questions bebre mesremo ubetimi ama onza so zoom no so now the question and our contribution naba mesremo nyesa betia faso you yenko this question on afi mafatili or see please in a case of broken homes, how do parents forge together to raise children and also help them in their emotional well-being or emotional growth? You can emotions ehwasem ewaha and you can broken homes and so ehwasem waha na broken homes enkwada ewum kwan ben na awofo yi ebefa no matimi atete nkwala yi they will be there for them emotionally as well na enkwada yi enye affected by yem mame ana yem papa no mo womo entimi anhwe nkwala yi enfomani anto nkwala yi na awarija ye aba ochame mame mfamfiri so
question we party okay enti media medwen say me wo baby a me bu say once a pilot always a rider I can forward say my ye ka say me ne wa ye bi pen oba na say be ma woni no atena pen adom ho pen say awari anye ye na say empapa mu ba eno nkire say munya atamfo enti because especially in kwala wo muntemu a se monti momu enti metan wo dia na che se original relationship anam wo no na nye one of love na ye either of manipulation transaction or dominance if it says wo do obi a wo nchen o oni nchen o se se wo koso ado no se ne ho nsɛmɔne a wo bekeka se kasetwie a wo keka twi no wo send the text message a me pa chew the unu be raise akwala together na se monti momu a se wan fa ni free pa ama amre wo ho ase amubu igwa wuntumi ene ne nge ubehu ochena nko na afa mu akwakọ pie court eti de mpesa me kire ne se me no ye bi painti se wo no obi wo relationship mu na se relationship ne se ya sa odo no a na wo de do no na wo protect no en say ni din enkeka no ho nsɛmɔne wɔ abɔnten keka no ho nsɛmɔne nkyerɛ ne ma no ɛsɛ wo kɔ so ade saa ɔdɔ no ma no na sɛ na adwene ya ɔno nso ayɛ bi ama na o ma na timi aka sɛ even though me papa ne ma me antena enso ɔmo de ɔdɔ ɛne baako yɛ ɛna tete yɛ nti mesrɛw enkwala ne nti ɛna me ne wayɛ bi penti sɛ aware gu a still yɛnkɔ so no yɛ partners na saa ɔdɔ wei nyɛ empem anase oba ne be ma de anim bi we ye honhon konkron do a uhia pa especially se relationship ye basa pacho me de manu asi
me da say papa mankwa said ye be ya ye nkwada yi and up on the street say warija ye mpo eba ekwan be na awofo ye be fa so ahwe ye mba being there for them financially emotionally everything for them to be able to grow na omomeye empenipa.
She said there will be no divorce. Nanka ankofa we am, but unfortunately it happens. my sense I has it to be a course no the divorce no ban it to be a so bad say sometimes even life is threatened and will be through say obekon yonko. So we this extreme case to in China me did say no matter what, even after divorce, we must forgive one another. Now, I want to believe, say, it's a paper, you know, with the starch, a kaboom. Hey, who so could say the years will be separate here, a baby to aka, the other side. It is with the children, you know, even though there's a broken marriage, the marriage still exists because of the children. It is young parents, you know, who have gone that wrong way, you know, should ask for forgiveness for ourselves, for our partners, and then look at the bigger picture. Say, so that cooperation must be there, even if it means say a contract be signed. I don't think it's wrong. Now you're making room, say, and Quadano, yeah, meaning divorce couple, you can't see a divorce, because they move still together. With their children, they go to whatever. It is the Sahara American and says a man kwalano ehuna money because of divorce. Now, whatever the situation, young fire personal yaudini adintunche for the sake of the children. The Yemi Dennis says sometimes when we do that, the marriage may even come back and become husband and wife. Madam Wasi.
Edasi, Jintia Dada, Niso Enyesona. Papa. Browse way. Yo, dear Yebusa ni se enkwala ni nti sempo sawarija ye ba kwan ben e na wofu emi no ese yetimi faso na yehwe ye mai no munyini emeye mpanipa, being there for them in everything, more especially emotionally.
Well, I think Whitney Houston kind of said, if someone loves you, won't they always love you? And it boils down to the fact that people separate because it's like lighting a candle and placing a bushel around the candle. Whereas whilst it is over the candle, no, who light, no, but the light is still burning there. If you're able to take the cover out now, you see the light. And that's what I see in most relationships, because they have loved each other before. It is will be behavior, not be BB, and that's what something that created that. And they must be able to look into that. But unfortunately, because of the pain of one party or both, they weaponize the children. And that is where the problem is. You cannot negotiate people's emotions. You can advise people all you want. If their emotions is high now, for me, I am pieball. Because if people are angry and whatever, they want to do anything to hurt the other person, even if they have to use the children. I know of a situation, Penny something kind, where they decided to live together until their last born was 18 years. And they were divorced, but they didn't show it to the children. When the last person was 18, then they did whatever they had to do and they went their separate ways. I was like, wow. I mean, that is, if you don't call this maturity, I don't know what else you call maturity. Because they thought about the children. And a lot of times, we really don't think about it. And for me as a pastor, let me say this. I'll say, if you leave these children and you cause them to go astray, it's better for a millstone to be hung around your neck and left in the depths of the seas to drown. That is how God is very particular about his children. And then in any time I have dealt with divorce cases, I tell the people, take your selfishness out of this and think about your children. But I have a disappointment for you, Nana. Most cases, they are so angry and so emotionally involved, they don't even see the damage they do to the children. If we can get to a place where we can advise people, say, put your emotions aside and reason, have both a qualitative and quantitative reasoning, and know, say, the best persons you want to protect in this thing, then we've won. We can discuss it here until we blow it in the face. Without emotional management and conflict management, we are getting nowhere. Because Obia person say, me and why hate me, it's no matriarcha. and then they have to go to court, and the court have to give a parent child rights to see the children, and then they will poison papa or you're bad or you bunsam or you say, and I say, oh mameno, it's a big thing. But if the motions can be managed, then it can work very well, because I've seen 1 or 2 cases that have worked very well. But the majority of the cases, the way is so raw and it becomes a problem.
Medase, yemfa Tilly any Zoom user na fe yemfa this session embra awiye kai say A class ebetinemu na or the TAPTAP focus section at the abroad. You any question with regards to your TAPTAP Mr. Wa Nyabotre right after the questions na yenya yempapa no conclusion na fe ye the TAPTAP focus section also at the atraso at the amount. Yo yemfa Tilly emfa and traso Tilly. Pacho, go ahead and ask your question.
Nana Pacho meda simitia obia and meda omumbe presenti I came in very late, but it was very good that I came. Near Dr. Kai, and I think that's when I came in to listen a bit about compatibility, getting the right partner, and I also agree with that. Say you have to be compatible with someone to be with. It's a discussion I've had with a man of God, and he agree with me. And I've heard people say you I was thinking say you have to marry a friend, someone you are compatible with, and in Nipa would don't know. But it seems like I heard them say no. Love grow. You don't need to be in love to marry the person. Is it right? It's something I want to know. Is it right just to marry? Because I know, like some of the presenters said, society I must say in Crawford to say I want to be Mrs. So they get married. They get into all that, and then it's not. They didn't marry in love. But think it's love will flourish or grow. Do you have to marry when you are not in love with someone? Because I believe it shouldn't be. Intimi pacho we there me throw mamunyana na last some moka about when you are not together with your partner. Sometimes the woman will talk badly about the man or the man would vice versa. But the case be and your obano and I say your beman in a KB chire. Pacho, sorry, me were office in Pacho. Ebia and your partner being all can't be Quadano, but one partner is on one casa and Beshem Quadano. So at a point, when he is trying to get in touch, the children don't want to know. Pacho no swear. This is to everyone. So, and yet to particular person, Pacho. That's my question.
All right. Memfam free yempapa mankwa hono.
Marrying not out of love. Very difficult question. Jesus dear. I think most people were marrying not because of love, but because of family connections and so on and so forth. But at this particular era, we say we have to marry. Love must play a role. Love to God and love to the person you are going to marry. And I don't know if catch them and say, "Ma, dear, mokramun shed that need dosa. Beman kana." Actually, and I think sometimes it works. I loved my wife and married her, but 50 years in marriage, I love her more now than I even met her. And yes, I think love should play a role, and I believe the love can grow. But the love be anyhow, attraction be anyhow. Now, I don't know. It's difficult. Because of a family or a barn or whatever. But I think there must be love. You must be compatible to one another. You must understand yourself. In fact, you must be friends. Me yiri say ebamwa ebetimi aboa ama awade no ayeye. No that's it.
Yo, Ochame.
Okay. Unim say also penny there and I'm the experience ne nim the enti. Okasa wi ami hu ne menkan. Wa kami na. Okay, my member kakra also. Enti me so medwin say essese ye separate love no from the relationship. Okay, let me speak English. I think I don't know if you can understand me. I think that for marriage, love must be separated from relationship. And for purposes of backdrop, my definition of love is a thought or an action and an intention which is backed by a strong will to see to it that someone or something prospers no matter what. A thought, an action, an intention backed by a very strong will to make sure that no matter what this person is doing to me, I will never gossip about them. I have no bad words to say about them. Even if they leave me and they go and spend their lives with another woman or another man, I am still going to respect them and treat them with the necessary respect that a human being needs. I think once a person has gotten to that stage, that is what love is. And the love, we need to look at it from a universal love, which is this thing that I'm talking about, or a romantic love. That romantic love is completely different from universal love. Romantic love can start hot and become cold and become hot again, or can start cold and based on interactions and transactions become hot. But the love that we need to go into marriage with is the type of love that doesn't seek revenge, that forgives 77 times. And so the question of marrying someone you love, which of the loves are we talking about? Are we talking of the universal love that no matter what you do to me, I will never cheat on you, I will never do this to you, I will never do that to you? Or that because I love your cheeks, I love your legs, and I like the way when you walk, your buttocks jiggles, therefore I'm marrying you. So once you lose those things after the second child, I no longer see you romantically, and therefore we can no longer be friends. And so I think that in life, whether you are choosing a business partner, you are choosing a spouse, or you are choosing to go into any form of relationship, the type of love that you need to seek is the love that doesn't seek revenge no matter what you do. Let me end with a small. When I married my wife, when I met her 20 years ago, I told her that I'm going to love you unconditionally on the condition that you never cheat on me. What type of unconditional love is that comes with a condition? You can see that I was a child looking at love from a childish perspective. But as I have come to know her, I've come to see that she's a human being like me. She can make mistakes like me. And unless I have decided that I will forgive her 77 times, 7 times, no matter what she's doing, I have not loved her. And you need to decide what type of love that you have. And for romantic love, it is flimsy. It goes and it comes. But I think that today, if you are marrying somebody, because of the way social liberalism has become great, you need to marry someone who has a clear understanding of what love is.
Ochame, me question now, so me train a da mini one oyiribeshi and me busa sa question.
Prepare the kakra answer.
Prepare no pa na ye be say ye ni mu mienu enya 1-on-1 na ye di nkomo pa, because we want to learn from you. We want to learn from you. The pressure. I be say ye sua bibi efi nia one we any mama. I think say we can learn something out of that. Right. Doc, say Tilly ebusa the question based on their okay in mpacho be true we can be kakra bi afa ho ye be wie na amanfo amom nsa so me hu de menye sesei enti de menye ne say mefa questions no na mamom ben koran but on be fa no mako then na ya wrap it up na ye wie show no enti doc bacho a little bit on Tilly's question na fe me inform na ye fa no mako then we will end up the show.
In the Greek culture, no, out of which the New Testament was written, they had an issue with all different kinds of human relations. And it is said love now, in the Greek culture, they call it agape. Now, this word was there before Jesus Christ came. And Jesus used those words to admonish us. And agape is unconditional. It's deep. It has no, just like he said. And then we have what they call the stodgy. And the stone genie or papa or dog, the man and ma, daddy. And they have something very interesting one, phileo. And you're choosing somebody above yourself. What you see, and you know, we study all that now. And unfortunately or fortunately, the word eros never made its way into the Bible. We don't have eros there. So when the Bible says, for instance, love your wife, he uses agape. And then he says, Christians, love one another. He still uses the same word, agape. It makes confusion, isn't it? Because he's using the same word to say we should love one another. And then in marriage as well, he uses the same word. You will think, say, he will use the word eros. He never used the eros in the New Testament and stuff like that. Now, come back to what we are talking about. Into this question of love, by definition, a evolution. You don't love with your emotions. Your emotions become an addition, but you love with your mind. You have to make up your mind that this person I want to love. And to people who have deviated from the mind love, they are wishy-washy in relationships. But when you have to make up your mind, and Jesus can stand on the cross and then say, I still love you. Why you killed me, but I still, because it is not based on emotional swings, and you have to understand that. And you must then, if that is the case, you must marry your friend. Because you know what? If you know somebody you are compatible with and you have made up your mind to be with that person, it is very, very, very interesting. I'll tell you a quick story. I went to a meeting when I was young, and this man of God, Ebi Preacher, or say they've married for 50 years, Omonkunda, and the wife, just say, I was sitting there thinking, how is this possible? And you know what? And I got married. This year, 32 years. My name is wife, Yankunda. We didn't argue before. And so I realized that what the man said was so true. Why? Because she was my friend. And we loved each other as friends before love sparked out. And then we became together. It's blessed all our children. All our children are now grown. My last one is at university going to the final year. And it's been beautiful. And I really thank God for that. I pray that it shall be so until God calls us home. But the interesting thing is that we made up our minds. It is the agape, no eros. Because sometimes you see your wife, you don't even feel like making love to your wife. It's the truth. Sometimes he sees you, doesn't feel that way. But you have that mental connection and you have made up your mind. I've decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. I've decided to marry this girl and no turning back. Or I've decided to marry this boy and no turning back. And I think that if we can understand it from this perspective, it will help all of us. Thank you.
Yo, Doc, me da say, enti misremo a me wo enipa 1 2 3 4 ewo call yi so and more one question wa enti mefa no 1 na ye asofo ne ye papa no mi ombefa no mako ye nkoran na afa yetimi awie bibia enti my first question ewo hanom enko doc wonum na maba ye Dr. Shadrach, but we ebuza say are men growing?
That's the most difficult one. Chami and I say. I'm joking.
You, Papa, we ebuza say are men growing, being taught the role of fatherhood or being trained? Because we are very heavy on ladies being virtuous women. For the men, no training or teaching whatsoever. How do we go from here? Why wouldn't some men struggle in fatherhood? Basically, or just say, ye men before some bekwa warim, ye mom entity, and ye mom akwanchre. I be mo hu role as fathers. But the bia no ye can say Emma being a virtuous woman, this, that. But a man money the say, yen share that Emma or ma kwanchire bia sa when it comes to fatherhood. Papa, I didn't show away one thing.
Yeah. Wait a second. Yeah, the thing is, can we say a lot of the women say, you know, a man entity member. And who about entity bema, that's we nya obema angler across the problems. However, about quantity bema, that's unya obema angler, the man becomes exceptionally great husband. Because when men are brought up by women, they sense women's pain, they sense their emotions, they sense all those into a more warrior. They tend to give that level of way to their wives. It makes them good fathers to at least their spouses. It's a good thing. But when there's void, let me recap my sentence. So, for instance, Papa there's an uncle. There is a male figure, not necessarily the biological person that gave birth. Now they are a creative good balance. And research shows that a member or more they become very good husbands. It's a good idea. But the question that came is a very valid question, because where there's no man's hand at all, be it the father or an uncle or something like that, it creates problems. And this is what you and I cannot solve. We just have to pray that society picks it up and we resolve that. Thank you.
Me da say yenko Zoom user no na yen papa mankwa emfa eno emame. Zoom user Pacho, go ahead and ask a question.
Sorry. Oh no.
Hello, Zoom user.
Oh, Madam was singing. I mean, some of my pa, moody. I someone penny for so for name, penny for motivate your ma Kenyan. No. Yepa me wo been to me for me me baby and me and to eja
yo
me wo ma me baketua edi mfie mienu pani edi mfie nine na asem bi say ya to me awa kwantio mu ha na me be ware ye na de na so for air can say to me bia ensem ni bi wo hono mu a de the kotwa ne say entity mu anase bibisa kodura ben no se me ne mo ka say the court akoni abada ne den nyinara enya asem kutuwa nam bie ejade ye oba ema anu odin pa bia me woni ntino ntino se na chese ye de eya ehia to me ne no mpontem a baby oda no nyaade a me hunu se de misinka we say no turning back and I say just nyame enti de ekoba no ewo me side no se ai obefrey na me ya de mi ne nkura eye na me de kasemono omaaye enenti no mesumi nya asama ya beji mo free me nsam e kwa afini I'm sorry. Ehu akoni aba ewo aban nsam sesei ti me stresse emo bi wo hono mo a mene wo bi betumi akasa of Jumedi so efa near kono and I said baby apa to do so be betting abawam yes edamus
yo Zoom user Mr. will say Miss Indi private message
me patcho line break kakra patcho me
say me de me telephone number to chat or in a private message at the amount but your fact na yen kasa actually na yen hwe anasa kwan bi a mutumi anya social worker bi na watumi aboa wo sa kwan. Ma check it. Chat ma send you my number. Why?
Me pacho you. That's
and that's it. I mean, sure, be yo, yemfa Victor Mpacho, go ahead. And before we DM say adistre and or straight, we can comment on this. Meaning one social worker, I'll put her in touch with her and see how best she can support in any advice or anything that she can give to her. But that's it. Yanko Victor, Victor, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, I have, before I ask the question, I will want to look at what Ochiame Kwame said, that education in Ghana lacks critical thinking. I believe he shouldn't have generalized it, because there are equally good schools which some of us attended, and reasoning is key. The shift that I am seeing is when we throw our culture and values in the name of I am educated. When you don't have culture, you don't have values, I don't believe there is life that you can live properly and appropriately. My question now is, how can we save the family system, especially the Ghanaian family system, with regards to this technology? How can the father manage the family, making sure the family lives together, stays together? Because every time son, daughter is in the house, they are on food, they don't talk to anybody. They are chatting. They are picking what doesn't even exist. So that is my problem. How can a father manage that situation?
Me da say, with regards to Ochame we need the yebepeda na yahwe na discuss sa asemi pa na ye try na conclude this show nyesa yebetwum enti papa mankwa mpacho fa papa ini question no am
Yeah, very serious. In fact, me and Kasakura menemo kasei. There was a time where me Obi busa se na ukunu wanye wase o waden in penny kasa. Yeah, because the computer became my maybe first wife. I was spending so much time. And just even with children. Na eno na yen kasa ye kan the word intention. Babu mebre. We must make an intentional effort to have time for our children. In fact, we must let them know, say, electronic media, no, but at least sometimes the physical contact between father, mother, children should happen. But with training, it will work. Let us let the children know. I creative. Some of Christopher Crowdy and come to a creative family altar. Yeah, maybe 8 o'clock. Every 8 o'clock, you meet for 10, 15 minutes and so on and so forth. Now, with constant practice, said the party adaptation can come in. And maybe it can be reversed, because the robots is destroying marriages, families, and so on and so forth. In fact, bidum crowd the computer and the iPhone a chance sebe neba. Yeah, nyame hu ya mobo over that. Me da se.
Ebe da se ebepe edanso na ye twetwen komo afa sa the new age technology and family system. Ebe pedanie di sa nkomo yi na ebe meaning say ebe boa yen pa. Yo Victor yedase. Yemfa Charles nso na Ochiame emfa eman. Charles bacho yeti.
We DM say musume dia kakra no ka say due to abrochire me find say a system no. One or two things be or what I think say we need to focus on. Yeah, man, one, your problem back most of men I see a problem back home. Hey, say you can't worry any my worry or more. Your problem a woman say now no a man I meet you no. And to say those time no yeah papa man I say yeah man no time of relationship now no mo come mo ni mo dada no. And then relationship na kwa social media. Ti be man be meet about the social media akofa na ba. Akofa ne ba afi relationship na enkleke be hu ana e ba ko bom ana se bia bi omukwa na separation aba na wari jaya aba. Beside that no so no my second thought is about say enkwara side no so no especially ya hasi no child benefit no it destroy a lot of marriages why that child benefit destroy a lot of marriages why because sika be manage or manage e won kwara no no ebi ho a be ma no esu ani wum on be kwa ka ho asem na koye he na agin kwala sika na pay na koye a whole lot of things the end of the day no ebe ba mu no na fi ama aware no asay ebe wi na enam court na afi ye shemra a whole lot of things nti say compared to aware Europe asi no compared to Ghana no different from a man the ama so far most no say man now no our my choose one and it so father's work because I mean me who say the last time I was telling somebody say yes sorry the near din kwala sika ho achi but ask yourself say me wo Ghana no na aban bi ma me best ka hwe me bana so that thing is not there intelligent na ye bahana aban ni sika kakro de man kwara no ye de ani wo mu na da bia no e bia wo yere kra no te ani je wo mu no na sa yi na kofa problem abana a destroy marriage no just like that and nobody eba san so bia for say after all higher bruchiri na to say say let's forget about that and let's move on and bibisa ombe ya asem na fa akopia aban mu na akoye court nsem bebree na co create a whole lot of things. They mean who say this kind of issue no we need a lot of education on it say a man no name man like a conform bani hane no abrocha warrior system no nkwara benefit ni sa anya man no I will see etimi ye hu bibi na etimi help because down here no there believe me it destroy a lot of marriages a lot but they don't see it. That's all.
Yo, Openi, you better say I want to contribution out there, but me pacho the well joining CC I intimi emfa obi time no echo. Yemfa Dr. KA na yemfa question time no NC. Dr. K ne question ever call Reverend Doctor.
I think so the question was actually Kwame though.
Oh, okay. All right. Then that's fine. That's fine.
All right. Thank you very much.
Me pacho, me need perspective now. Obisa one question no because menti abrochi.
It's not about
I don't think that I am positioned to speak to that. Etim pacho, una wo winim nuances no. Tim pacho fama me. Why?
I don't put in Kenya abrocha some crowd. What I wanted to ask is that so I'm just speaking on behalf of the younger ones who are actually coming. I've been following you and Madame for a very long time and the kids. And one thing that I've seen about you is that you have a blend of the old school and then the new school. So if there's one take-home advice for the younger ones who are yet to get married, what would it be?
That and the world is moving from a socio-cultural perspective to a more pragmatic perspective. So if before you say I do, I think that you need to consider some of these questions. One is, so once you go on a date with someone, the date shouldn't be only to find out what are the chemical reactions that I get when I get closer to this person. How much dopamine do I get because I'm thinking of him or her? I think that it should go beyond that. You need to try to find out what this person's short, mid, and long-term goals are. You need to also try to find out what experiences of other married couples they have and the way they perceive marriage. Another thing that you have to look for is, do you plan on having children? If no, how many? If yes, how many? If no, why not? If we decide we want to have children, but find that we cannot, what will be our next option? Are there any sexual preferences, anxieties, or no-go areas that you want us to discuss? Would you have you been physically or sexually abused in the past before? What is your level of education? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? How do you see me play in that picture? What are some of the ways that you deal with conflict? What are your internal conflicts? What are the major causes of your interpersonal conflicts? Because the whole idea of marriage is about managing your internal conflicts so that you don't transfer your internal fears and conflicts to your partner for you to develop that toxic relationship. So I think that to be, as a young person who is going to say I do, I think you need to ask very pragmatic and critical questions. Find out about sexuality, find out about spirituality, find out about economics, find out about traditions, how much traditions they hold. When I met my wife, I was more traditional than I am now. Now I am my how much I hold on to tradition has maybe dwindled by 50%. Find out, do you know that the marriage is going to change as we grow? Hormones, age, menopause, sexual drive, all these things are going to change. What solutions do you have as I change? Are you going to change with me? So do not leave the critical questioning of the relationship that you are going to build to just maybe you don't leave it to chance. Like my senior brother said, become intentional about who you are choosing. And I think that if you do due diligence and the partner that you are choosing is honest, it is going to give you the opportunity to know whether you should go forward or not. And once you find out that this person that I'm going to marry, whether you have told 100 people, whether you have rented chairs, whether you have paid the decor already, whether you have paid the partner already, once you find out that this person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, I am completely wrong, stop. Because it is better to live a peaceful, independent life than to go into an abusive relationship. Thank you.
Ashame, based on this, Mame Angel last submission or conclusion and Kahona Femingo and Papan Honum Naminjubia and so Eddie. In conclusion, again, and I would DJ. Need to young up and coming young people are all mobile, yeah.
In conclusion, Medjane say, Onipa does any BRA, our 5 levels, our physical level, the emotional level, the mental level, the spiritual level, and an energetic level. Me pa chow, worry ubia. Making sure say at least and you may move for more congruent. At least there's a certain level of agreeability at the spiritual level, at the psychological level, at the emotional level. And sana wako warino. Na se o wari obi. Na se awari no start say eye twitwitwia. Emofra no nti ene menuwa ye bi penti me pacho hwehwe osofo panyi bi, ebusua panyi bi. Ofebi our Jane Sanwa Nanimu Dua u partner ne ferry no. And yes, because a hrumo, where drew baby a eba betino. Answer a betia, a brilliant or quabeba will be a becon baby no. Me pacho, she penny be our partner ne ferry no. Nama o mediating mawa copim say a bedroom pointer at the Naya abusive, somewhere in Casua, and your how be bremon in Qualano, and son away castle. If we say a lot of the problems, a misunderstandings, internal conflicts, and I did back. It will observe properly. Who say and talk even the way we fight. Me pacho observe that one. So no ire kun. Ade we nyansa be in the womb. Ampa ade no ye ni nyansa be anim. But who to bo say 1 second da. Ubetimi abusa the same question in a pragmatic way. Emfe bufuma. Ade we ye di enka we ye ni say ya medwen say nke beboa. Enti medwen say yen nyina yen live your compulsions. The natural compulsions are one. Now you move into a meditative state where we think carefully about the effect of our words and our actions before we cause them. I think that will lower divorces and bring a lot of peace and harmony in our homes. Thank you very much.
Yo, but I say, remember, Mankwa, a bride did you made berry, a dear and I would dija yem papanum. Ene wona womo sisi omo so mbeko aware mu ababeye papa no
Ejaye nyame na dia mayen esese etimi ma ne adwuma awade eye na ye adwuma nso it is possible na so niema a esesenti ene obi a wodwen awade ho no onwene hu yie na betumi a yese betumi ampo onya proper counseling proper na wohunu ade a wowura mu de ewomu de ebehia no ene ade nyina na wonte ase prekupe say marriage should be a no return issue enti uwura mu nyese eye den a wobefiri se saa adwene we nyina wo mu a ebeboa biew firi wo pemu pa na ware emma ohyebi emma wo so ohyebi te say se wo ho ya wo de wa hwe ya wa anware ya wo dwaman ana se ohyebi te say obi e ware wo de wuni bi ana se o hyebi te se o maame ne o papa ana abusua wo firi mu se chinchina aware e masa ne ma we amfa wo nwura wade mu se nyame anye wadom ne no na de obi wura mu a emwa enti awade ye agya ye eye na eye adwuma se makwan a na se nyame kan ye ho nso a it is possible me das
agya me das be brave nyame shaw yenko yembaba Reverend Dr. Shadrach Ofosuare. In conclusion, that
you know how they say it's Father's Day. Let us appreciate our fathers. It is a tough thing to be a father, especially in this day and age. And when if you're a good one, then definitely you should be celebrated. In the end, celebrate your papa no. Again, you celebrate your father-in-laws as well, because your father-in-law wangu obana yentimi enwareno. Nya emudeni emunshira. And you know, the father-in-laws in our lives are also fathers. Let's do that. And let's also encourage our children to appreciate their fathers. In biblical sense, you know, like I say, honor your father and just say respect him. But father is in a very stage, sebi previous and sebi is not a good stage. You have to intervene and help him. That is what the Bible talks about. To honor no, is to give. The buano, what you are saying, software important in your life. Bless your pastor, yes. But untumiku kusi can come out software fidi ma o papa or tete. And to do that as well. And make sure, say, this season you remuno ubenya fatherly blessing. When Isaac asked for Esau to bring him a meal, no shano, no, and your meal no be because at the end of the day, the year crying and say it's about money, I mean it's about food. And come friend ban some rainy and catch the year son mano because at the end of the day, you need mano. But it's a spiritual principle. Say you set up a blessing trap for your children to be a blessing to you, so you can also bless them. And so I conclude by saying, let us celebrate fathers. Fathers, our sons, let us empower them. And not only that, also the women that give birth to our wives, let us also celebrate them. That if not for them, we would have gotten a good wife to marry. God bless us all, and let us do what is right and celebrate each other for this season. Thank you.
Yo, if Papa no, asida kesiye ena medebe mamunyina Reverend Dr. Shadrach Ofosuare, chairman for Christian Council UK and Ireland, also the head pastor for FCI Freedom Center International Worldwide. Papa Nyamisha Bebre say on the short notice in Pono unya ebre na onye ebebe chichwen sa enkume. Yaka say nyame onsha. Sa so na me papa Reverend Samson Akosi Amankwa. PCG, District Minister, Italy, Spain District. Papa, nyame onshira bebre. Ewo onso ahofama eni akwenya ene o de mayen na oni nyina ababetuche enkomo ene wo futu a odi amayen. Bigiri se yen dodo na no yafa yesua bibi afrimu na yen so ye de bebo yen bra. Papa, nyame enshira. Na afi mi bra penny. Rap doctor. Ojame, nyame onshira. Ontina ni munchira wo nya won ko aso no ohira wo na emom ohira wa na oyire enso engine tum say next time e be invite mu mienu na mo aba na ya san twetwe nkomo nyami shira bebre say out of your busy schedule also who make it time to come and join us on this discussion ebusuafo mo so am joining your show yi so nyami onshira munyina say as part of our Father's Day celebration and that ye day see onomo say betwetwe nkomo afa yem papa nom role in our family life. Say omoye providers and they will also be there for us in all areas of our upbringing. Any family life nina any yamba mabe boy ya train komo bibia akoso kama. Yada mo asi bebre nyame eyaduma next week. Yebe sign the fufro abremo nina is part of our Father's Day celebration. No, you find another nice topic here. Join us again next week for us to have another insightful conversation.
Quickly.
Yes.
And I'm going to make it quickly. But I know the juicy no and ombe need me and yet juicy being you look slim like him. Why?
Papa now was anytime we generalize say Ghana critical thinking and show school no. Who say me sample space here what me you sue me am example. School I'm going from secondary school to 3 masters. Me share critical thinking class that. Me ma area Cambridge system from class 1 I started thinking. Class 1 thinking but Ghana system no omo the thinking na share mathematics and probabilities that is not how you teach someone to think enti wada roma uti ya mesrel pa school kra ko en mesrel chrogu na me fa me mani ko bi na wo musia thinking wo Ghana ha de na mu school na ya de
ye be peda na ye di education system o Ghana no ye di ho nkomo ezan say yewo GS system ho na yakwakofa Cambridge education system na obi in a private school aba GIS in a system aba we in a system aba adan na yen GS education system no quite different na ye dey make private school na private school enkwala no bom homodin GS. I mean, we will have a very insightful conversation about this and see how best we can improve our education system in Ghana. Me that say, yo, Ebusia for said me kan ye no. Ahanomo ena ye de enejumedi ABC. Ye dane ye ho na ye dane ye ho ba ora ye class betinem no de TAPTAP focus session no e de abrain. Me de woko chat room ho no ma me de OT media WhatsApp platform link no ato one mo me pacho click so se woni sa platform no so click so na join ye na bribia no ye wo conversation bi say ya update members a omo platform no so na omo so atimi anya notification no ma join ye wo show no so anything bomodia if you are not on it just click on it join the OT media WhatsApp platform ahanamo ena medu besi midi ene nana kwame osaitu abrini na every Thursday be the TAPTAP focus session. Yeah, TAPTAP send time with TAPTAP send Ebrel. On Fridays, yeah, they ask the lawyer. We talk about UK immigration. Lawyer Wisdom Akaho and so joining on every Friday, 8 p.m. UK time. Now on Wednesday, yeah, the doctors and so Abba. Then we talk about our health. OT Health Talk on Wednesdays. And to make a date with us on these days, na nyame eyaduma wonso enam so suye bibi na emwaw ewo abrabom. Bedamase.
My chef and party planner. You know we can't get this retirement/birthday shinding go wrong.
Everything is almost ready, but small problem.
Why, what's up?
We are way over budget, Kweku. Everything is almost twice the estimate.
Alibaba, okay? No worries.
So with TAPTAP Send, I have got a cake and decorations covered for the year.
You handle the food.
If any extra expenses comes up, just text me or call me.
I'm off today, so I should be easily reachable.
Hey, chairman, it is for day.
Say. Hey, no be easy. Chairman has time and money. Allah, Kweku TAPTAP, Kweku do, Kweku that.
Chairman can call.
Hey, Alande, Chairman send them.
TAPTAP send. Papa no.
So Christica Manian. Put me do rap to say. So me send jam within a minute in Sabakandia and then one TAPTAP send.
Yeah, ebusiafo amanfo bidindi na nakoma kwachrewa 1. They recommended TAPTAP send amamo. And that's how for aba. O send ko fa baby a. Da ye basa. Omo rating so ye. Omo ye A1. Nti obia no do TAPTAP send. Na on say sika for TAPTAP. Piao.
Yɛbɔ hu de wɔkyerɛ amansan yɛbɔ hu de wɔkyerɛ Ghana for say yɛwɔ akwantu ne adi sika kɔfie nie me yɛn fɛmfa baabi a yɛbɛnu yɛn ho TAPTAP sign TAPTAP edemu fua TAPTAP send in this aspect
TAPTAP de enua na yɛn na eyi
TAPTAP de enua na ɛkɔ